Hello, my friends, and welcome to E3. Wow, first Monday in April. Man, 3 months have gone. First Monday in April, NCAA championship. Wow. Last night, I watched the NCAA women's championship. Um, I saw some amazing lessons there, right? But the greatest lesson I got yesterday came from my wife. Um, Pastor G, as she's affectionately known, uh, Lady Sanjanique L. Guns, right? She, doing worship yesterday, she made this statement, and I'm not going to be very long because I've got to be a part of a memorial service for two of our students at Virginia Union at 6:30. So I want you to go back and watch this, and people that don't get on, I want you to encourage them to watch. So here's what she said. She talked about the importance of you must reauthor your life. You must reauthor your life. When she said it hit me like a ton of bricks. You must reauthor your life. And what I heard was God gives you content. And sometimes the way the content is put together works against you. So God gives us the ability to reauthor, to rewrite our own life narrative. God gives us the ability to make changes, to redirect, to choose different paths. God gives us the ability to trust. Now, God has a plan for our lives. So a lot of times people say, well, why don't God just tell me what to do? Because God has created us with free will, with volition, with the capacity to choose. God, because of God's nature, does not force us anywhere. So the thing that becomes really incredible, and I hope everybody grasps this tonight, the thing that becomes really incredible is that because you have the ability to make decisions, to make choices, free will, volition, because you have the ability to do that, you must learn how to make the right decisions by discerning the will of God and by trusting your gut instinct, which a lot of times people think that works against God's will, when I'm discovering that a lot of times it actually works with God's will. That there are times when God gives you a sense that this is the direction you need to go in. There are times when God gives you a sense that this is the path you need to take. And it isn't that the sky opens up and the dove descends. It can be a sense in your spirit, in your heart. It can be something that comes out of your time with God. It can be communicated in your inner space, and then God uses someone outside of you to confirm it. Reality is at the end of the day, God is trying to walk you in to a space where you are fulfilled and you're complete. But sometimes God gives you the desire and the ability to reauthor your life. I am someone whose life has been reauthored, rewritten. That God has taken some of the content of my life. He never changed that I was Black, never changed that I was male, never changed that I pastored St. Paul. But what God did was God rewrote my life. God has reauthored my life, or give me the ability to reauthor my life. So I want to talk about very quickly 7 things or some things that can hurt you when you're trying to reauthor your life. Now, this is going to sound really, really different because the reauthoring process is about making real change and doing some real growth work. And by having the courage to just kind of move past some things that you've been stuck in. So here's the first thing. You lack respect for the process. You lack respect for the process. People who lack respect for the process will never be able to reauthor their lives because the process is necessary. God just doesn't move you to your next level. God allows you to go through steps and stages. We look at Joseph. We even look at Jesus, how people went through steps and stages. We look at David. We look at Esther. We look at all these people in the Bible, how they went through steps and stages to get to where they are. But persons who lack respect for the process are going to totally mismanage what God's trying to do in their life. Here's the second thing. You refuse to remove yourself from a toxic culture. You can never reauthor your life if you just decide you're going to stay in a toxic environment, if you decide you're going to stay in toxic relationships, if you decide you're going to continue to submit and expose yourself to those who are toxic and to those who really have no desire for you to grow. At some point, you make a decision, you're going to remove yourself from toxic environments. You can't reauthor your life if you're writing from a place of pain, rejection, and disappointment, and you are constantly in the cycle of pain and constantly in the cycle of disappointment. At some point, you have to remove yourself or remove those who are toxic so you can move forward with what God has. Third thing that inhibits your ability to reauthor your life is you stay in the wrong position. You stay in the wrong position. You are in a space that's not good for you, that's not going to help you grow, and you stay there. And instead of moving away or moving from, you stay in. And what ultimately ends up happening is you ultimately end up losing your space and your position because you didn't know how to reposition, right? You didn't know how to reposition. And so one of the things that hurts you when you're reauthoring is that you are in the wrong position. And I'll throw this in, and you have people who are in the wrong place with you. And there's a disruption. Here's the third thing. You're unwilling to change when change is identified as necessary. You're unwilling to change when change is identified as necessary. Again, what does that mean? It's real simple. God allows you to come to terms with the fact that you need to make some changes. You don't make the changes. You reject the change. You stay in the behavior. You stay in the mindset. You stay in an unhealthy place. And you look up one day and the season for opportunity has passed you and the season for change has moved beyond you. And you look up and you go, whoa, what just happened? Here's what just happened. You missed your season because you were unwilling to change. Number 5, inability to handle tough conversations that sometimes includes correction. Whew. Inability to handle tough conversations that sometimes includes correction. Why is this important? Because people who grow are people who can handle tough conversations. And tough conversations don't always go the way you think they should go. Tough conversations do not always work out the way you think they should work out. Sometimes a tough conversation will start down one place and end up over here. You go, man, how I end up? Because maybe where you really needed to be was over here the whole time, but you didn't discern that that's where you needed to be. But God allowed the Holy Spirit to guide the conversation. And now here you are having the right conversation. So now you've got to recalibrate your need to be right with your need to be right. Did you get it? Instead of needing to be right, you just want to be right. So the conversation puts you in a space where you get to grow, right? Here's the next thing. When you are dishonest in communication, one of the things that hurts your ability to reauthor is that you just don't tell the truth, right? You know, having a tough conversation is one thing, but being honest and truthful within communication, especially within communication sets or communication moments, you got to learn how to be honest in communication. Here's the last thing. You can never reauthor your story, and I saved this for last, when you refuse to admit that improvement is necessary. If you behave as if you don't need to grow and you don't need to be better and you don't need to improve, then what you're going to do is you're going to miss everything God has for you. I want you to notice then these 7 things. I hope you wrote them down, but I want you to notice these all 7 things. The onus for reauthoring is on you. No reauthoring, no rewriting, no changing of your narrative, no getting better happens until you want to get better. But when you choose to get better, and you want to get better, it's going to happen. It's time for some of us to reauthor our stories. Write a different chapter, manage it a different way, go on a different path. Change some dynamics about our relationships, and if necessary, change some of the relationships we're in. Walk it out and watch what God will do. All right, that's what I got. So that came out yesterday, and I've been thinking about this stuff today because that really blessed me. You gotta reauthor your life. God, that was big. All right, you guys have a great day, great night. I love you. Be encouraged. Be blessed. Keep pressing forward. Don't let up. Don't give in. Don't negotiate. Don't cut any deals. Don't let people and circumstances get in the way of what God has for you. Press through and watch what happens. Because I promise you, it's going to work out in your favor. Time to reauthor. Take care.